Very pleasant good morning, everybody. Welcome to a degenerate Friday edition of the program. Jeff DeForest. We got Mike Lubie Lubitz, young Luca Lubitz in the background there. And I can't help but be reminded it's you're trying to tend to what it takes to get the show on the air, Lubie, and all the different preparations that you have to make. And of course, there's always some kind of computer glitch, and you're switching from show to show,
Yeah.
format, platform to platform. This doesn't work. The camera's not working. There's always something. It seems like before every show, and you have to go through all of this stuff because you're kind of generating the main impetus for the broadcast here is coming from your source, and then you have to juggle young Luca. And every morning now, I'm reminded of being covered in baby vomit. The time that I was on with my idol. I mean, this was almost like having Bobby Bowden ask you to repeat the question because he didn't understand you with the speak English. God damn it! No, he said, "Dad gummit."
Dad gummit.
He would never say, "God damn it." Oh my
He was a
God,
very religious gentleman. So yes, Dad gummit is what he would say.
Dad gummit. Is that really the equivalent of "God damn it"?
Probably.
For a religious guy, you got to clean it up.
Yes, that's the clean.
Bobby was kind of a religious sort, was he not? I mean, he would
Not
espouse.
kind of. He was very. What do you mean?
Yeah.
He leaned a certain way politically just because of his religion, because of the way he was as a human being. There's no way he could have leaned that way, but he was a very religious man and actually believed what people said, and that got him in trouble a lot because he was actually not. You found out he was very like Spurrier would get mad at Bobby, like. Come to find out, he was just naive. It was like very, very naive and trusted people and believed people and came from another era. Like, yes, he was very religious and watched what he said. I know Mickey Andrews let it fly. I don't know about Bobby. Like you've heard stories about Bobby.
Mickey, though, I mean, I'm sure this wasn't the case, but I mean, he did give inclinations that maybe there was some form of inbreeding. No,
It's just his face. No,
just
he
had
didn't.
that kind of hillbilly face that made
Yes,
you
he had
think
the
whose uncle was responsible. Which uncle? All right. Anyway, yeah, Bobby. Yeah, that's right. He used to infuse religion all the time into this stuff.
Yes, he was very
The
religious.
good Lord Jesus has
And
blessed us.
believed it. He
Young man
believed
from
it. Like he
Compton.
believed it. Like he meant it. Yeah. Like he lived from what I've known. Like there's no stories of impropriety. Like Bob was a family man to the T.
Yeah.
Like so. Yes,
This
Dad
wasn't
got
going to be a Sharon Morris
no,
situation.
he wasn't doing Urban Meyer stuff where young girls are dancing on his lap. No, that wasn't.
Lane Kiffin, supposedly. I mean, while he was at FAU, my God.
Sharon Moore.
Somebody was telling me a story that a friend of his daughter was one of a very attractive young lady, and you know how they have the escorts, sort of, not
Yes.
meaning in that sense of ladies of the night, but supposedly, and this has been going on forever, right? Where they have the beautiful cheerleaders greeting the recruits, and here's a zit-faced guy. He's only worried about whether or not this is going to leave a permanent scar, this acne, and he's rolling around campus with this hot babe. And I mean, is there the underlying insinuation that there was something else going on there? I mean, certainly that was the case, supposedly, with Rick Pitino and many of his indiscretions. Although, Rick, do we believe Rick that he knew nothing about this?
No.
We love the guy. The guy's a great guy. He did a lot of favors for us. I mean, that time he drove to the studio.
Yeah, it was great.
That was great, man.
He drove for like an hour. Drove himself. I believe if he didn't know, is because he knew he didn't want to know. Like the great coaches are great. We've heard many times they're great because of their detail. They're so detail oriented. And again, we've seen it when we have Larinaga on. You ask him on purpose. It started by almost just for fun, and now it's become a routine every time about someone from like 40 years ago. Sometimes no, he's in his 70s, and it was when he was a teenager. So 60 years ago, sometimes 60 years ago, you ask him about guys, and he can remember the game,
everything,
remember the play, remember the weather that day, and what his mom made for dinner. Like their detail,
total
recall is so strong. It's hard for me to. When the crazy stuff happens, that's the stuff they don't know about. It's like, well, that's convenient.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand if the 100th guy on the roster gets some misdemeanor driving infraction. Maybe you weren't aware of that, but you would think something this scandalous, that this likely to take down the program or lead to sanctions and probations and lost revenue. That if you're the head coach, it goes like this, right, Lubie? If you didn't know about it, you should have known about it. That kind of thing. right?
Yes, that's my problem. Pick
All right.
both, either way. Like either you did it or you didn't do
No,
it. Why were your
no
guys doing
claiming naivete there, Bobby. If
it? No.
you had no idea that these guys were getting under the table money. That being said, I mean, that was sort of, it wasn't really an embarrassing moment for you. It just happened to be kind of, I mean, it was one of the more entertaining moments
It's
that we had
classic.
on the show
I
where
think it's
Bobby
classic.
Bowden asked you to clarify your question because you weren't speaking in English. But I don't know. I mean, was it deflating at the time for you? Because you were an aspiring guy. I don't know that you were sure of yourself in terms of where you were at,
I'm still
where
not
you
sure.
were at as a broadcaster, and you were getting to be the lead guy on that show, which I
Yes.
think was an ambition of yours at the time, was to sort of head up your own show, which they probably should have given you your own show, right? You had some popularity
I
there.
can do it now. I've grown to. I don't care about that. Like
Yeah.
life changes. We were doing that. It was when we were doing the night show, and it was cool. We got Bobby on for like an hour,
Yes.
and that night, and again, his wife, the great Ms. Ann, is the one answers the phone, and she screamed for Bobby, and we did it on air because it was just kitschy and fun. And then Bobby comes on, and it's a loud bar, and it's this voice, and
Yes.
I'm thinking, I by now
And
I've learned.
you had accelerated your speech pattern because of your excitement level. That
Even
happened.
more excited, so I talk fast. But on top of that, like you learn when you're in certain settings, you ask certain questions. Like when we would have Rodman on, I'm not asking about the meaning of life, like, and you don't want to, you shouldn't ask long questions. You shouldn't ask hard to understand questions. But it was early in my day, so I asked like I would ask at 8:30 in the morning on a phone interview with someone that's just dedicating their time for you.
And
So
you
yeah,
had
of course,
that habit that a lot of people have trouble shaking, early on in your early stages of being a broadcaster, where you feel like you have to give the entire history of the sport as an
yes,
intro to the simple question, do you think you can beat the Chiefs?
yes. So
We
when
go,
you
"Yeah,
came
you
back
know,
with
go all the way back to 1898 when
it.
Amos Lonzo Stagg first laced up a football. And you're like, and the guy's, wondering where the hell is the question there?
So
But
it was
that
a
was
badge
one
of
of the
honor to me. When Bobby couldn't understand, I was like, yeah, that's about right. So anyways, so then I asked the question very quickly and very concise, and he gave me an answer. So
yeah. You have that clip. I mean, we should remind people that are unfamiliar with it. If you have that clip, I know we played it a million times. And the reason I bring it up is just because every morning now, when I hear Luca fetching a little bit before the show, and I don't know what you do to satisfy and pacify this kid. I mean, is it a pacifier, actual pacifier, or
pacifier, we have formula
food?
here.
Food usually does it, right? I mean,
Yes, I
it
keep
has some Jewish blood in him. Food will do it.
yes, I
Yes.
keep this kid's an eater. His mother and I were not. I don't know where he gets it from, but he eats. So I always have formula. I have a pacifier. I now have him in the bassinet right next to me, and I can touch him. And that's another thing too, is he's getting to a place where like he recognizes us, because I'll notice if I leave, he'll start crying. But the minute he'll see me again, he'll calm down, which is new. These are new things I'm having to learn.
Oh,
Like I'm
good.
not
Good.
used to
Yeah.
him. He's recognizing. He
They
looks
adjust
around.
fast. Yes, they
He's
do.
smiling, like, which is good. It's growth, but it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so I
Yeah,
have to.
he'll figure out how to manipulate you.
I think he's already got
The way
me.
it goes. Yeah.
I
And
have
what
to set
happened with
my
me, I mean, I've told the story many times, but I'm literally going on the air with my idol in my first national appearance on a national network. It was, but one of the things when I first was doing this on 940 Wins, it was an all news station. So many outlets and many different networks and AP, UPI was, they were still prominent then, and they did audio also, which was like an innovation for them at the time because most of that stuff was coming off some news wire. I don't know. You never saw that kind of a contraption, right? Where you had to rip and read the stuff. And so you ended up stringing and contributing to some of these networks. You would send them audio clips or whatever. And every now and then there were certain shows that would actually have you come on and do a live report. They might have been going around various NFL stadiums. Let's go to Miami now and see what's going on with the Miami Dolphins taking
Mhm.
on the Chiefs and Jeff DeForest. And you'd be in a press box there. You do like 15 seconds. So this was going to be, I guess, a couple of minutes I was going to have with Win Elliott,
Wow.
who was doing the national broadcast of CBS radio. And they had like a game day thing, and they wanted a preview of the Buffalo Bills Miami game.
So okay, I've never asked. So was this? Because I didn't realize it was 2 minutes. Because those hits, you go around the around the thing.
Yeah,
We've done enough pre games where like you
they
go
gave
out
you a
to
little time
this
on this show.
and there.
Yeah.
So it was 2 minutes. Oh, okay. So was there back? Because to me, now having a kid and doing an hour, like I've always been like, okay, if he just had to bark out his thoughts, you can do that. Was
Sure.
it back and forth? That's what makes it tough. If it's like this guy wants to extend it and he's asking you freaking questions.
They're asking you about the weather, and they're asking you about a variety of things. I mean, they let you express a little opinion on it. It was a pretty good spot actually for that kind of show at the time. And sure enough, I'm holding young Jesse, who was under a year old at the time. We're living in this little apartment in right near Gulfstream Park, actually, just off the street or down the street from Gulfstream Park. Very appropriate for me to try and catch doubles back in the day. And sure enough, just as they're about to come to me, and I'm waiting in anticipation, and I'm thinking, geez, I'm wondering if any of my friends from California are listening, because all of a sudden they'll hear, let's go to Miami and Jeff DeForest. So they might think I actually made it. There was a lot of concern I would just disappear. So I'm thinking this is great, and sure enough, they're just about to do the throw. I mean, I can sense it coming, and it's due. And Jesse throws up his formula all over me. Literally, I'm covered in white gook and goop, and sure, as soon as that happened, they go, all right, Buffalo and Miami. That should be a beauty. Let's go to Miami and Jeff DeForest. Jeff, well, what's it look like down there? And I'm thinking, this is beautiful, right? My greatest moment of glory and achievement. I risked everything coming here, and I'm now about to do national radio, and I'm covered in baby vomit. Is that somehow symbolic of how it's going to end? That may be. Maybe that was the significance of that whole incident. I don't know, Libby. But hopefully that won't happen to you. I mean, you've experienced it to a small degree with the Bobby Bowden thing, because it's kind of like when I was trying to do that stroke job of Tillman Fertitta.
Yes.
And I threw him one of my, sort of offbeat intros to a question. And the guy literally, tells me to go F myself.
That was classic.
I'm just clowning around. I don't care if I sell your book.
Like, Jesus, that was weird.
Some fat ass dumb owner that has buried the Rockets for years. I mean, why should I stroke you? That was nasty, wasn't it? That was ugly. How many basketball teams do you own, you stupid DJ?
It was like the first question. So it's like, so where do we go from here?
Talking to Pete Hegseth or something. Say, hey, Pete, what about that second bomb? So what? They were hanging on the side. They were going to die anyway. All right, very nice. That's the way to do it. All right, I was very conflicted last night. I didn't really watch this football game. I didn't have that much interest, except I had sort of, what would it be? Well, look, I had an action on the game in my personal betting venture with my buddy Francesco that I've talked about a lot. And I have to say, it does enhance my interest in many games that I would pay zero attention to, one of which was last night's game. Tampa Bay was an interesting story in the beginning of the year. Todd Bowles, I'm not a fan of Todd Bowles. He seems like a decent human being, doesn't he? Todd Bowles, respectable.
Yeah,
you don't hear a lot of scandalous stuff about Todd Bowles. He doesn't seem to be in any kind of conflict with players. He seemed to be getting the most out of Baker Mayfield. Look, Baker Mayfield's career resurrected and then off to an amazing start this year. They looked great, didn't they? Lubie, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
5 games ago, yes, he was like the front runner for the MVP.
You would have thought they were going to hand the MVP trophy somewhere around midseason to Baker Mayfield. Yes, and he was earning it. I mean, with gutsy performances. I was talking about Justin Herbert and how I admired the fact that this guy literally kept peeling himself off the mat and trying to make plays, and not easy plays either. I mean, he was running for his life, Ben Gazzara time, and doing this while he had a broken hand. It could have inhibited, his desire to go out there and get blasted, but he literally was getting just pummeled in this game. Mayfield was doing. He was shrugging off 4 or 5 tacklers, and reaching and just grasping for first downs in key spots early in the season. But Tampa Bay has not been the same. They're now 1-4 in their last 5, Lubie.
Yep.
And yet, and here was the conflict. So I have the Falcons plus 5.5. There was a way for me to win this on both ends. Plus 5.5. But we all know this, that you would rather look like you know what you're talking about if you were some kind of broadcaster. And I had given out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the time laying 4.5 to beat the Falcons, who I thought were just a worthless, throw in the towel type of team at this stage. They're 4-9, not going anywhere. I don't know if it's a bitter disappointment what happened with them. They have they must have one of the weirdest front offices. Who signs a guy like Kirk Cousins for what was it, $180 million, and then drafts a quarterback that you're going to start ahead of him? Is that not one of the strangest dynamics you've ever seen? And it wasn't even necessarily a guy that you thought, oh my God, they were able to get Michael Penix. It's too bad that they just signed Kirk Cousins. They probably never anticipated they were going to get this guy in the draft, and so naturally now they're sort of stuck with a contract. And that's the other thing too. I mean, is Cousins just so out of proportion money wise to what teams expect of him? He is the modern day Neil O'Donnell, Kirk Cousins.
Oh yes. He's been able to capitalize on every, like, the franchise tag is usually something no one wants. No, he made top $3 for 3 straight years, and then still got a ridiculous deal.
I think he got huge contracts. This guy, incredible.
And he's average. His numbers are good, but he's not great.
Not great. Look, and it took a while for him to even be acknowledged as good, because in the beginning of his career, most people thought he was a complete stiff. And he did the Neil O'Donnell thing where franchise tag, free agency, whatever it was, he took total advantage of the circumstances. And then I want to say, didn't he sign a big contract with Minnesota, and then subsequent to that with Atlanta?
Yes.
Kirk Cousins?
Yes.
Like $400 or $500 million worth of quarterback. Easily.
Yes. He's put up enough numbers in perfect era where he's made a lot of money position.
Screwed up front office, though. I mean, they have themselves to blame for being perennially lousy. The Atlanta Falcons, who haven't been good since when? Since they blew that Super Bowl?
Yeah, since the Dirty Bird, honestly. Yeah. Well, I guess the Ryan, you're right. That Super Bowl, the Matt Ryan, they did have a nice little run with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and they never could overcome 6 minutes of hell versus the New England Patriots in that Super Bowl.
Well, they looked like complete garbage the previous week, and so I thought the eye test would tell you, okay, Tampa Bay is getting some guys back that they need. Mike Evans being one of them, a very competitive guy who's obviously a major talent. They are desperate to keep their fortunes alive here, as I think they were leading the division, were they not? Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even at like 7-5.
Yeah, well, the division's tight.
The division's bad, is what it is.
Well, the Panthers have come to life. It's a horrendous division, but it's a lot of. They're all horrendous now, including the Bucs.
You never know. You never know what to do with the Carolina Panthers this year. I mean, you would have written them off completely at the beginning of the season. So they've distinguished themselves by actually being better than you would have anticipated. And then just when you start to think, well, maybe this Bryce Young, as frail as he looks, is starting to figure some things out. I mean, he has a game like he had a couple of weeks ago where you're asking yourself, my God, I mean, is that the owner's son? That's the only way he could have possibly gotten into the lineup. And sure enough, they're sitting there now, I believe, atop the division with a chance to take a pretty good grip on it by if they can win their game this week, which they're going to be challenged. No, nobody can figure out the NFL, though. So the situation was this. I recommended that you go ahead and lay 4.5 with Tampa Bay. And then I was getting 5.5 with the Falcons. So I'm hoping that the game ends with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning by 5. Would have been perfect.
Middle, yeah.
And the situation's there because, I mean, what on earth was this guy thinking? The coach of the Falcons, Raheem Morris. What's he thinking going for 2 points? Did you see this? It's 28-14. They score a touchdown. I don't know. I mean, the kicker, they brought him out there, trotted him out there. He did make the game-winning field goal. So he wasn't hurt or anything. Why would you go for 2 in that spot? You're then going to be down 8 and be forced to go for 2 again, which they did and failed again later on when they could have been in a tie game if they just kicked the 2 extra points. What mathematical permutation led the analytics guy to go, hey, Raheem, go for 2 here? Wouldn't you want it to be 28-21, Lubie?
McDaniel did this in a game where the Dolphins were down by something and it was even points. It wasn't like you needed to do that extra thing. And he like went for 2. It was early in the game. And I was like, what What is it? I don't get the point in that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a new analytic thing. I don't know. And you don't want to be even and go to overtime. So you either want to win or lose. I don't.
It's way
Look,
too early in the game for that.
we it's funny because you and I have called for coaches for years to be more aggressive and not be conservative. And it's just annoying that they make us now ask for them to be more, like, they go so aggressive every week now that they're just being stupid.
Stupid, yeah. Like they don't know how to use it. So I remember there was some resistance. I remember the conversation was that there was pushback from coaches about instituting the 2-point conversion as a possibility, because the coaches, and how weird is this? This is your job, is to make decisions. That's what you're getting paid millions of dollars to do. And you would think that you would enjoy that was really the part of the fascination of the job. And yet the supposed pushback was that the coaches didn't want to be burdened with having to make these decisions. So why are you in coaching if
well, it's like the salary cap. It's owners know they're paying players way too much money. They know they should not pay them this much money. They know it's ridiculous and it gets out of hand, but they can't help themselves. So let's put in a cap so they can control them. So because they can't control themselves, they're grown ass men. Why can't they? Why do you need a cap? That's always the player's perspective. If it's like, look, why am I getting punished because these owners are children? Like, it's to say I never knew that they were scared of the 2-point conversion because they knew they'd have to think more.
It's insane.
Like, what?
You would think that they would want to have more chances to possibly pull games out of their ass.
Like
being able to go for 2 in spots where otherwise they would have been hopelessly down. I mean, there's a big difference between if you're down 16, as we've seen many times. It happened with the Dolphins and the Saints, where it's possible to come back with the 2-point conversion. You would want that opportunity, wouldn't you? But and no one says you have to go for it. But I don't know what would dictate. Is there anybody out there on the chat line that can give me some kind of rationale behind?
Ken will be on soon. He's good with this stuff. He pays attention to back channels that we don't. Maybe he knows. I don't know. I don't understand. I've seen that a few times now, and I feel like McDaniel did do it. And I was going, what? It's okay to just.
If they made it 28-22.
Yes.
So they're down 2 field goals. I mean,
maybe you're scared you miss an extra point.
Well, weird. There had to be something with this kicker. The kicker's record actually wasn't all that infallible in terms of game-winning kicks. They posted up one of those quantified stats where he was like 8 for 13 on kicks that could decide the ball game inside the final 2 minutes. Not exactly a glamorous resume. Now, maybe a couple of those were desperation kicks from 60 yards plus. I don't know. But 8 for 13, not exactly ringing endorsement for the idea. And he did just kind of send it inside the left upright, although it wasn't waffling one way or the other. So the conflict was, and I've asked this question before, Lubie, would you rather be right to a gambling audience that you're trying to appeal to? And nobody wants to be dead wrong about every game, do they? Unless, you're making like a shtick out of it. I remember John Wiener, Stu Gatz, when he was doing the ESPN radio with Dan Le Batard. It was part of the whole thing that the guy was like 0-27 or something and picking games on the air. That's hard to do. It's hard to, you have a 50-50 shot no matter what you do, whether you're laying points, taking the points.
You can try and get it wrong and still get it right by accident. Again, look at last night. The Bucs are up 14 versus a bad Falcons team. Like,
games in the bag.
And they lost.
Right. And of course, there's always a moment of truth that pops up where, so the Bucs have the ball and there's about 4 minutes to go in a game. They're up 2 points because of these 2 failed 2-point conversions. The first of which you have to ask yourself, what on earth was this man thinking? Because even if you wanted to be bold and you say, hey, you know what, bleep it, we're 4-9. What's the difference between 5-9 and 4-10? We may as well take a shot right here. If you had gotten into a position where you had scored the second touchdown to make it 28-27, then, okay, if you want to go for 2 there and say the game's on the line, but wouldn't you want to be in a much more safe position? You wouldn't want to have to be thrown into desperation if you got that second touchdown, which was improbable to begin with. Well, what on earth is this guy doing? People are, we're really going to start to question the legitimacy of all of these games with some of these stupid ass decisions that are being made. And look, we already know of athletes getting death threats and all kinds of crazy stuff from gambling. Speaking of which, Louis, this story caught my eye. It shows you the depth of despair and depravity that's going on with legalized gambling. And I'm not sure that these bets were made through. I guess they would have to have been made through some kind of legal means for them to be tracked, right? They're not going to the Gambino family, these investigative bodies, and saying, "Hey, did you see an exceptional amount of hey, hey, Tony? Did you see an exceptional amount of action on this guy Folio?" So there's a tennis player named Quinton Folio. I believe that's the correct pronunciation of his name, but I could be wrong about that. It's Folliot. Wouldn't that be Folio in French?
Probably.
All right. I never heard of this man. I've never heard of this man. He's his highest ranking came in 2022 when some of this stuff started to surface. That maybe he was involved in some matches that weren't quite on the level, largely due to his own activity. Ranked 488 in the world. Who would be betting? I mean, who would be taking bets on this guy's matches, Libby?
I don't
There
know.
were already suspicions about, and it wasn't like one incident. He was supposedly paying players, other players are attempting to pay players to do things, and fix matches. He was giving out this information. He was involved in many of them himself. And now he's got a 20-year suspension. So the guy's 24 years old.
Oh, geez. Oh, God.
But I mean, how could you ever let this guy back in the game? Holy Pete Rose, what are we talking about? But yet, it's amazing to me that there could be enough betting activity based on the fact that this guy was willing to throw a match or two, ranked and barely inside the top 500 players in the world. Who's taking a substantial amount of action on matches at that level, Louis? It's insane to think.
And the person that would know is waiting in the wings. So maybe bring him on now. I don't know anything about this stuff. Ken is the one that has dealt with gambling from very different perspectives. So maybe he would know. I don't know. That sounds, I mean, it sounds, I guess, like an interesting idea because, like you're saying, who's going to be monitoring this? But obviously people were because he's now suspended for 20 years.
How could you bet? I mean, where could you, Professor? So here's the thing. There's this French tennis player named Quinton Folio, and he was just handed a 20-year suspension for being involved in a gambling scheme where he directly was supposedly fixing matches. He was trying to influence other players to get in on the fix. He was telling some source about it. But where could you bet enough money on a guy that's not even, he's ranked, his highest ranking was 488 in the world? Who's taking substantial action, substantial enough to be traced and result in criminal convictions? Who's taking enough of that action at that level? I mean, where can you find a place to bet?
First of all, what's substantial enough action for a 400? I mean, like if you're 488th ranked tennis player in the world, how much money? What do you mean, like $12 a tournament or something along those lines? Like, I don't know what the money
this way, I guess he
kind of level is.
Go to betting rings. That was, I mean, he was giving out this information, and he was essentially taking money, I guess, from them to go ahead and tank matches.
I mean, in the internet current world of gambling, and I know actually weirdly, tennis is along with freaking ping pong, which is the weirdest one to me. Shout out to our buddy Andy who loves to bet on freaking ping pong.
He says he's got the guy who had a paddle that's like the Manny Pacquiao of ping pong in the Philippines, and he's cashing every day on this guy.
Like I have to assume most of this stuff there's a circle on it. I mean, like I can't imagine there's anybody taking more than like $500 a match for these kind of things. But number one, let's remember we are now particularly for non-Americans in the era where there are endless websites that will take this kind of action, the phone apps and whatnot. And number two, I assume probably, local bookmakers, if they can find a line, they'll take some action on it. So if you could cobble enough things together, maybe it would make some sense. Although, again, I think a lot of this in this case would come down to like finding the 488th ranked tennis players, like finding a Division III basketball player that you could get to drop a game that nobody cares about because.
Can you believe Colgate lost by 7?
Yeah, exactly. There's just not enough people who know the hell it's going on kind of thing.
All right, that was all part of it. I mean, everybody's trying to look at how this is going to influence the integrity of the game.
Also, if you're 488th ranked in the world, like, how do they know you fixed it as opposed to you just suck? Because apparently you already suck. So
apparently it wasn't a very good answer.
Right, like you're already trash. Like, how would you even know?
We've seen indifference from high-level players like Nick Kyrgios. I mean, where he just like throws a racket at the ball, in disgust after getting what he thinks he was jobbed on a call.
All right, if you're 488th, it's not like you're good to start with. So
that I mean, the fact that there's action on it at all is what's.
You're better than me, but you're not like. You're probably not, the champion of the Pompano courts if you're 488th in the world.
Yeah, old Ben Levy, man. He's 82 years old. I think he's ranked 489.
Right?
That may be a senior division, though. All right, let's. Any thoughts, preliminary thoughts on the college football playoffs? Anybody stand out to you as a possible play?
To win it? I mean, I'm like everybody else. I think Georgia comes in incredibly hot.
Yeah.
And seemingly with a vastly improved defense as the season's gone along. I don't know that I necessarily would want to dabble in. I don't know if the odds make this worth it kind of bit. Like, are you really just gonna hold on to your money for 3-1, 4-1? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
All right.
I mean, in general, futures don't make a lot of sense to me unless look, if you're onto a shot play where you feel like I got a good look here for 20-1, 50-1, whatever. But again, with like the top 4 teams are all, I believe, minus 500 or less. So
yeah, I thought I saw something around 5-1 on Georgia.
Let me look here, see if I can pull up odds real quick.
Yeah, Ohio State and Indiana were both like somewhere between 2 and 3-1. And then I think Georgia was third ranked at like 5-1. That's
okay. I mean, I find it a little hard to believe that Indiana is that. Yeah, okay. So what I'm looking right now at FanDuel, Ohio State plus 195, Indiana plus 320. I wouldn't want anything to do with either one of those.
Right.
Georgia plus 600, Texas Tech plus 850. Oregon plus 850, Texas A&M plus 1800. I guess at 6-1, Georgia would be worth a shot.
6-1.
That's enough of an odds to make it worth your while, I suppose.
Yeah, especially if you've seen them beating the other two or whatever team they play out of the other two, if they even face Indiana or Ohio State. All right. What about the first round of games, Professor? Have you zeroed it? I mean, is there something that's jumping off the page at you? In terms of prices that were out of whack?
I mean, let's see here. I'm looking real quick. Let me pull the numbers up. Sorry, I don't have them memorized. Let's see. We've got Texas A&M was 4.5, down showing to 3.5 over the local Canes. You got Alabama and Oklahoma minus 1.5. You got Ole Miss minus 17.5 and Oregon minus 21.5. I mean, honestly, in terms of both talent and where they have to go play, there's probably not a big enough number to get me to take James Madison. So as weird as it is to actually think about taking 21.5, laying 21.5 in the playoffs, maybe. And then Oklahoma minus 1.5 against Alabama. I think we got to continue to watch this stuff with Ty Simpson. If there's a chance he's actually not going to play in that game, number one, I'm sure that Lubie and the rest of the Florida State fans will go to the playoff committee's homes and burn them in their homes down. If it turns out that Alabama somehow managed to hide a quarterback injury. which is
exactly.
If you haven't paid attention to this, there is a rumor going around that Ty Simpson
he's been hurt.
herniated a disc during the Auburn game.
Wow.
That's why he looked so bad against Georgia. That's a tough number, actually. Like, again, without knowing Simpson's status, I still can't pick Oklahoma, though, because Oklahoma is just not good. Like, I have not been impressed with the Gooners at any point during this season. I don't know. Honestly, it's not a crazy I would have leaned Miami, although I liked it better at 4.5 than I do at 3.5, and that's, I mean, kind of a coin toss game to me. I think the way Texas A&M kind of got beat up along both lines of scrimmage by Texas in their final game makes the Canes a somewhat appealing underdog there, because that is the strength of Miami's team. Yeah, I know. Honestly, I don't think anything's great in that first round. I mean, when the strongest pick I have is Oregon, and you're laying north of 3 touchdowns in an alleged playoff matchup, like, that ain't a great sign for strength of the first round.
All right. It's been tough all year, college football for sure. And Lubie says you're killing it in college basketball. Any plays before we get into the big board?
Unfortunately, no, because we don't have a lot of big matchups in there. Honest, this is a dead ass sports weekend. Let's be honest. You got Army and Navy, always, the worst college football weekend of the year. I honestly, that we gotta resolve this. We give these two a whole weekend crap. Like, I mean, a whole day crap. Like, it's just bizarre. And I'm not trying to obviously insult their tradition. I get their tradition. But, like, the NFL doesn't pay any attention to anything in college football. Like, you're playing your playoff games. Screw you, we'll play regular season games on those Saturdays. But for some reason, it stays away from Army and Navy. I don't get
it. Fabled game, as documented by the late, great John Feinstein. But I've always found it to be the most boring game that you could possibly watch. I dreaded watching Army-Navy. It was worse than watching Notre Dame, Michigan State back in the day when they played the 10-10 tie. Just dreadfully boring. The offenses, did they pass the ball any more than they used to? I don't think so, right? Both are running triple option.
Correct.
So, yeah, you can look, salute the tradition and everything that the service people do for us. Fantastic. But the game itself, let's face it. I mean, anybody that doesn't say it sucks is kidding themselves. No. Well, you got to be kidding me, Defo. All you care about. I mean, no. I mean, who wants to see two triple option teams go against each other?
There's some novelty to that, just because nobody else plays the option even in high school anymore.
Yeah,
so I actually kind of like watching option football.
You do? Wow.
But like the only game of the day.
That's like in Skyline Chili, isn't it? I mean, watching option football, both teams, not just one, both.
Again, to me, it's like nostalgia, because like literally high schools don't play option anymore.
Oh.
The problem with the Army-Navy version of it is it's option football with kind of level players. I mean, honestly. Plus, they're on this weird cycle where, like, this year's Navy's good and Army's kind of garbage. Last year, Army was good and Navy's kind of garbage. But, yeah, well, I mean, I'll probably bet Army because, again, 6.5 is pretty heavy number and in that particular matchup, but yeah, it's just not a great weekend for Friday and Saturday sports.
All right, well, let's provide
Go out and do your Christmas shopping or whatever, and watch the NFL. Oh wait, what? You're laughing because I'm telling two Jewish guys.
You're not wrong. Like, I'm going, I was sure this Saturday night, like, this is a perfect weekend to go, honey, like, and look like the perfect mate, when in reality, there's nothing to watch. So that's your reason.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Like, if you're doing the fake, like, I'm a good husband, I'm a good boyfriend.
When was the last time you said that to a woman? You know what, sweetheart? We really ought to go shopping today.
Yes, exactly. So you'll get points. You hope you get points.
I dread going into stores. I really do. I mean, worse than going to like medical offices. I would rather sit in some doctor's office for a half hour, laced with anxiety, than go shopping. And yeah, I
That's
mean,
the level of dread they don't see that often.
and any place, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a little bit of an adventure heading for Costco, but only because you feel badly for the people that actually are wearing sandals in there, and they must have a death wish. Those
Defo's busted out the excuses, the job excuses. Honey, I can't go.
Yeah.
There's a game I have to watch.
Pete effing Bavacqua is giving another press conference.
What's up with this?
At which point she turns around and says, "You're gonna watch a bum like effing Bavacqua?"
What's up with this Ward Manuel, the AD there? How long does he last? After
I'm surprised he's lasted the 2 days.
Isn't that amazing? They have like all kinds of scandals.
Circumstances of that story. I don't know how everybody's not already fired. Like,
yeah,
and I'm like, nobody's getting a job again ever. Like,
so what were the actual sort of details? I mean, I guess these are allegations or whatever.
Just the ones we know are factually true.
Yeah.
He got her pregnant. He made her get an abortion. He was fired by Manuel in a private meeting, despite the fact that Manuel had put out a comment within the department that he was having mental health issues. Then he went home after getting fired and got in a huge fight with his wife. Then he went to the young lady's house and broke in with a knife.
Oh, wow.
Apparently put the knife to his own throat, threatened to kill her, threatened to kill himself. At some point decided to leave the establishment, went to his church to seek advice, and that's where the cops scooped him up. So,
not a pretty picture. I mean,
people have had better breakups.
Yes. That. See, I had seen something. They were speculating that he went to the guy's house who had put in the word that, hey, this is going on, but apparently it was a very poorly kept secret, like the worst kept secret. Our man John U. Bacon, we'd have to get him involved in this.
Well, there's a story going around, and again with the Sharon Moore story, it is tough to sort out the internet trolling and crap from what's real, because I saw the bit about him being arrested, and the details of it was like, oh no, that's some Ohio State fan made that up.
Yeah,
and it's spreading on the internet, and then it turned out to be true. But there is a story going around that this started because a DoorDash driver reported to the school about delivering Plan B to the football office.
Wow.
Plan B, for those who don't know, is the morning after pill.
And the pregnancy. Before it begins.
Which I didn't know was something you could order off of DoorDash, but compliments to DoorDash for having that kind of variety.
I mean, you can
comes with small margarita pizza also.
Yeah, from Walgreens. I mean, you can get anything.
Yeah. But yeah.
So the coaching carousel, continues, and many people will prosper as a result of this man's indiscretions.
I mean, not many people, but one in particular.
Always coaches. Yeah.
Might be two, because it'll be the guy and then the guy school who got
It'd be great if Lane Kiffin took the job, though, wouldn't it?
It really would be.
The Michigan pays like $800 million buyout,
and he screws out.
Gives him $150 million.
It would be a very Lane Kiffin move, honestly.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? That would be awesome. All right, let's do a little big board action. The fans are all clamoring for that. It's a big highlight of the show.
It's funny you mentioned it right when we got into this story, Defo. But if Lubie wants to pull it up,
oh, nice.
Been a lot of these over the years, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's hard to avoid.
And we obviously just went into one that'll probably make an appearance on the list. It's the big board of college football coach sex scandal mistakes.
Excellent
we here like to provide public service and let you know the types of things you should try to avoid.
Yeah.
Should you ever be a college football coach? And this type of sex scandal mistakes that you do not want to make.
Very appropriate.
Yes.
As
I thought,
inappropriate as this is, it's very appropriate.
I thought for this particular week, this was perfect topic. And we're going
Yeah.
to start with a favorite of ours around here, number 5. Ed Orgeron, don't hit on your boss's wife. For those of you who aren't familiar about Ed Orgeron's exit at LSU, part of it was Coach Orgeron at a gas station around the corner from the football facilities encountered a young woman, saw her in her gym clothes, and said, "Hey, honey, looking good. Maybe we should work out together because you look like you work out real hard." She then informed him that she was married and pregnant, and Ed Orgeron's response was, "What's that got to do with it?" Which, again, is a
highly
very
educated man. Yeah.
Coach O kind of response. This is a man who's used to not taking no for an answer in the world of college football recruiting.
Yeah.
The bad news is the woman in question was the wife of an LSU board regent. So you don't want to hit on your boss's wife, or in Ed Orgeron's case, your boss's wife. Just particularly their pregnant wife. Just in general, management's wives are not good recruiting targets, particularly in this area of life.
Vintage NEO. That's why
it's
he's
the kind of thing that'll get you fired, even with a national title.
Yes. That's number 5. Good start.
And you know she's not going to forget about it because, like, she went to her husband and what? The strangest thing just happened. This alligator who's been turned into a human by a voodoo curse hit on me at the gas station.
And it happens to be your football coach. All right, that's
no,
number
I'm
5.
saying, like, she probably didn't even know, you know. And then the guy, her husband, he told like this. He said, "Oh,
yeah, exactly."
Real impression. That's a good one.
Exactly. Had number 4, and we're not saying that you should sleep with young staff members. In fact, I fully believe in the "don't shit where you eat" principle. Like, don't get involved with the staff. But if you do, never take them on motorcycle rides. We're in this with Bobby Petrino, folks. Gonna be a dude in your 50s. Don't take the young girl around, ride on a motorcycle. It's just not going to work out well for you.
Yeah.
In fact, it's going to lead to this: the funniest visual anyone has ever seen, ever. Like, we're like 20 years later on this, and still you can't look at Bobby Petrino and not picture him in this picture, right? Exactly here, right? Like, this is following him around the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So again, I don't advise driving motorcycles anyway. It's dangerous, but particularly don't take your young girlfriend on a motorcycle ride.
Huge mistake. All right, that's number 4. Number 3.
Number 3 comes from I guess this dude's had a couple of stops since, and it requires some explanation here. But number 3, the lesson of Hugh Freeze at Ole Miss. If you're gonna text hookers, don't do it from your state-issued school phone that is subject to Freedom of Information Act requests from your rivals. For those who forget, the reason Hugh Freeze got caught during his time at Ole Miss is because a Texas A&M fan filed a Freedom of Information Act request on Hugh Freeze's phone records, which he's allowed to do because that phone was being paid for by the state of Mississippi, because you are an employee of the state of Mississippi as the head coach at Ole Miss. So if you're going to text the hookers, get your own phone. Don't use the state-issued school phone to text hookers from. It's a bad idea. You're going to get caught, particularly in an environment where SEC fans have been doing this to each other's coach since like the early 2000s. I remember this back when Houston Nutt was coaching Arkansas. Fans were filing Freedom of Information Act requests for his phone records. I don't even remember why, because really, the hell was Houston Nutt possibly doing in that situation? But Hugh Freeze liked to text the hookers from his phone and got caught on a Freedom of Information Act request by a Texas A&M fan. And so, of course, he ended up with the job at Liberty, because that makes perfect sense. When you're caught texting hookers from your phone, you end up with the Liberty gig.
Some religious college, yeah. Reminds me a little bit of that Dolphin assistant coach that was snorting cocaine.
and making videos of it. Yeah.
Yes.
And then was on the phone, like on the Dolphins office phone, talking to some hooker in Reno, professing his unwavering love and commitment to her. Which turned out to be a somewhat embarrassing moment in what was otherwise an embarrassing season on the field. Worst rat in the world, my friend Lefty, the great Lefty of Calder fame, Calder Clubhouse. And of course, he was part of that whole Alonzo Mourning autograph story. He always said the worst rat in the world, the cell phone. So Hugh Freeze should have taken that guy's advice. All right, that's number 3. Number 2.
Number 2. And this is probably the oldest story on our list today. But really, one's still valuable. Hopefully, people aren't making this sense. And this comes from Mike Price is very beefront at Alabama. Don't pay for strippers with your state-issued school credit card. For those of you who don't remember, Mike Price got the Alabama job, and the most unlikely faction came from the University of New Mexico. Coached spring football for season, then went to a golf tournament where he went to the strip club in Pensacola with the school credit card. Then took the strippers back to the hotel, which the school was also paying for, and ran up $1,000 bill on room service again on the school credit card. So if the University of Alabama is nice enough to give you their school credit card, and some of the boosters aren't real fond of you to begin with because you're not part of the Alabama family and your background's at the University of New Mexico, pay for your strippers yourself.
Yeah, you would think cash probably would have been.
I'm sorry, I don't know what I just brain farted there. It was Washington State, not New Mexico.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm like,
it was Dennis Francione who replaced Mike Price, who came from New Mexico. Mike Price was from Washington State. Again, now that I realize that in my back of my brain, this makes sense because this was Ryan Leaf's coach.
Yes, he's the guy that coached Leaf. Yes,
this guy was okay. So again, it kind of makes the behavior is kind of Ryan Leaf-esque behavior. So don't pay for those your strippers with your school credit card, Ryan Leaf's coach. Maybe that it's like that drug commercial. Like I learned it from watching you, Dad. Maybe just unlock the mystery of what happened to Ryan Leaf all these years too, while doing the sex scandal big board.
I'm wondering.
Really, you shouldn't take a credit card into a strip club. Period. Now that I'm sitting here,
no,
yeah.
No, that's horrible.
Your credit cards. Leave your credit cards at home if you're going to the strip club. Make that a straight cash operation. That way, there's a maximum.
Probably have a habit.
Yeah, but there's a maximum.
They probably have a habit of whacking for a few more bucks than you necessarily were responsible for. How do you think Porky's in Hialeah compared to a Pensacola strip club?
Excellent. This is an excellent question, right?
Actually, you might have found the place that makes Porky's look good.
What kind of stumpies are?
And I'm not going to go as far as to say it makes Porky's look like a high-end operation in Vegas. Nothing can do that. But it makes Porky's not seem like the absolute worst.
Yes.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't bottom level. That's for sure.
It was interesting.
The fact that we were operating a radio show out of the freezer, which was right by, and you would have to call it the undressing room.
Yep.
And Lubie, this was when he was in the height of his romance with Shirley, so it was a real test for him.
This was very early, yes.
Yeah, because
it was something, Porky's.
It was hard not to notice as you were on the radio the women rolling by like 2 inches away, and you're thinking, should I have the chicken tenders tonight?
I'm always weirded out. Honestly, I'm always weirded out. And I know there's a couple of places that are sort of famous for having good food.
Yeah,
I'm always weirded out about the idea of eating at a strip club. It's just it seems very bizarre to me.
Monroe's makes a great steak, actually.
Monroe's, yeah. It's a Greek's favorite
Rob
place.
Shirley there, she actually admitted the steak was really good.
Well, wasn't there? It was in Monroe's. Did they take over Rachel's?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Rachel's was known for their steaks, but again, like I'm not going into strip club and eating. That's just weird.
No, it's weird. It's weird. I didn't say it's not weird, but
it does seem like You would want to inspect the
Yeah,
food,
there's just
like Lubie used to.
bacteria going around that I don't want involved in that.
Exactly.
I had a great steak and I got
That's
chlamydia. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
That's number 2. Number 1.
Number 1, Sharon Moore. Literally
Oh, yeah.
everything Sharon Moore did at every point of this process, you shouldn't do. You shouldn't hire a pretty blonde girl as your assistant. You're just asking for trouble.
Yep.
You shouldn't
Yes.
knock up a girl at the office. You shouldn't, again, allegedly stalk her for months and months. You definitely, again, everything, every mistake you could make from A to Z. Don't lose your mind at the end when it all blows up in your face. You knew this was going to blow up in your face, and I'm not trying to minimize mental health problems or anything else that might have been involved here, but like this one, like again, like when you bet the 1,000 to 1 shot and it loses, you sort of just got to take away. Say, yeah, I knew this was the case. I mean,
Sure.
again, if you date a stripper when it goes bad at the end, like you can't really be the dude who freaks out and gets shocked by that. Like you got to see that kind of ending coming, right?
You would think.
Again, don't do anything Sharon Moore did in this situation. And on top of it all, one of the things he got busted for was apparently, and it's really hard for me to picture a grown man doing this. After the story broke, someone went and checks his Instagram account, and all he follows are OnlyFans girls and college girls. Like,
oh, Jesus Christ.
Come on,
That's
dude.
crazy.
Like, what more can you do? Like, it appears like his whole life was dedicated to horniness. So,
14-year-old.
no, exactly.
Who's that energy for all that?
Yeah. Worst kept secret, they said it was.
Man, but he's nearly kids. He's at college. Like, where does he have time for? Like, Jesus.
Trying to think who it was.
Stalking.
Trying to think who it was. I think it was Tim Brando of all people. And he was like, well, people keep asking me when I first heard of this. It was in September. I was like,
oh, Jesus.
Basically, people have known about this for 3 months.
I mean, that's bad.
It would not be surprising, right? I mean,
coaching him the whole year.
Well, on the other side, and I keep seeing people. I think it was Ryan Clark or whoever. Like, well, what with the getting arrested part, we have to be sympathetic to this man who's going through mental health. No,
oh no,
like no. I'm going to tell you, this man is a moron who did everything possibly wrong you could do. Like, I have no sympathy for any aspect. Like, in a post-Tiger Woods world, all of us should know about all of this stuff.
Yes.
Like, in the world of sports, we covered this like 15 years ago. Like, if pre-Tiger Woods you didn't know about burner phones and all this other stuff,
yeah.
Like Michael Vick, you go to the STD clinic and use the name Ron Mexico so nobody knows who you are. Like, people have been paving the pathway and leaving the footprints for you to follow for years and years and years on this. And Sharon Moore didn't follow any of them. Like, I'm just going to bang the blonde at the office and knock her up. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, the knife to the throat is not a pretty picture either.
It's not any of it's a pretty picture. Like, that you got her pregnant, pull out, dude. What's going on?
Dude, what are you doing?
Like, yeah, how do you not know any of this? How is it possible you've gotten to be 40 years old and living a reasonably successful life, and you know any of this?
It's insane. Yeah, it really is.
I mean,
all right,
look,
excellent.
And I'd like to meet a woman who I thought was worth a $5 million a year job.
Exactly.
But random blonde college girl ain't it. Like, I don't like.
What are you doing?
The whole thing, right?
What are you doing?
Yeah. This is a guy that's influencing young men on their future decisions in life.
And doing a piss poor job of living his own.
Oh,
that is my favorite part, and I'm glad he did just college. Because college coaches, especially the ones that talk about building character and men and turning young men into
look
men.
what's going on with Joe Pa.
It's just crazy to me. Like, they're always the ones that spew that garbage the most when they can't. Like, Urban Meyer is a king of, like, that was a joke. He would always talk about character when his whole team was criminals, and he's literally getting lap dances from like 18, 19-year-olds. Like, it's just so, the hypocrisy is so disgustingly, it's funny at this point. Like, they're the people that spew the character crap, and they do some of the grungiest stuff. It's like loyalty, and then Grantham leaves the next day, and like, come on, man. Like, it's just so funny how they can just say this garbage and then do something totally different.
It's insane. All right, Professor, good stuff as always. We'll catch you. I think I sent you the link out early this week for the burial of various bookmakers. So we'll see you there in a few minutes. And Lubie, we'll catch you later on.
Sir.
Everybody, you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday with a Peel Yourself Off the Mat edition of the program. But Professor Mike Lubie Lewis, I'm Jeff DeFore. See you next time as we leave you on that. It's 9:05.
Let's eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my show.